Here now is Ryan Gorman, host of The Ryan Gorman Show on iHeartRadio's News Radio WFLA. Ryan, welcome back. It's been about a week or so since you and I talked, right, as this storm passed through. How are folks doing a week later, and what has changed in the recovery?
Well, certainly more people have power. That's good news. Fuel is at all the gas stations for the most part, so that's been a big improvement. But the cleanup, let alone the rebuilding effort, I mean, that is just beginning. It has been a really difficult stretch for the Tampa Bay area and other parts of the state, down the west coast of Florida and even over to the east coast with those tornadoes that hit.
And what are the greatest challenges in getting people back on their feet right now in the short and then the long term?
Well, finding housing for a lot of people, they've been displaced because of all the flooding. And it's not just the flooding along the coastline, it's also some of the inland flooding. You've got a river in the Tampa Bay area just cresting today. And there are certain areas where we've seen flooding and people didn't expect that to happen. They'd never seen that before. So I think moving forward, you have a lot of people without flood insurance. Navigating all of that is going to be difficult, and it's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah, you need so many resources and, in the end, money to converge on that area. You recently talked with Florida Republican Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna about some of the efforts of those who have been impacted by the two hurricanes, and she explained why House Speaker Mike Johnson is reluctant to call Congress back for a special session. Here's part of that.
I'd like us to convene now because I think that that's really what would be best. In times of crisis, elected officials have one job, and that's to protect but also help their constituents and the American people, especially in times of crisis. And, during Hurricane Katrina, Congress actually convened a special session. So there's really no reason why we should be out right now, but he did tell me that there are some people that were concerned about their races in California and whatnot. So that's kind of, I guess, his reasoning for keeping us out.
Speaker Johnson said that bringing everyone together can wait. What's the latest on this, and what's been the reaction there in Florida?
Well, certainly Floridians believe that Congress needs to do their job. And if more funding is needed, and it clearly is, especially for the Small Business Administration and that disaster fund. I was just talking to Senator Rick Scott earlier today, and he was basically saying the same thing that Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna was saying. Congress needs to return and get some of this money appropriated so Floridians and really those in Georgia, North Carolina, other places impacted by Hurricane Helene get the help they need too. But you have an election right around the corner, and you have a lot of members of Congress who they're out on the campaign trail and they're focused on that, and what's happening here in Florida or the Southeast maybe isn't their top concern.
Yeah, you've got dueling priorities, but Congress did convene a special session after Hurricane Katrina. So the question being asked now, why not after these storms? Finally, voting and access to voting, early voting, and then come November. What's happening in some of these places? And are these areas where Trump leads in the polls that it could impact him more than Kamala Harris?
Possibly, but I still don't think Florida's really in play. I think Trump has a really good chance at winning this state. There are some disruptions, but it sounds like local elections officials and the state are working together to make sure people are able to vote. I do think that if this situation has an impact on the election here in Florida, it's going to be more with the Senate race, because Senator Rick Scott has been all over the place in response to these two storms. And I'm wondering if that takes that Senate race and puts it out of reach. It was always going to be a stretch for Democrats, but I think he probably did himself some favors with the work that he's put in the aftermath of these two storms.
Yeah, important race among many to watch. Ryan Gorman, thank you, and our best to you and your team. I know you're coordinating a lot of efforts and resources to bring people together to clean up faster and more efficiently. So thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.